Hello and welcome to the Week 3 Google Code and Hangout for Copyleft Games. Today we have some students who are ready to do presentations. I'm Kobe, or T-Sharp on IRC, and the first person today will be Michael presenting a dependency for Lipsoi.
What I want to talk about today is Open Dynamics Engine, also known as ODE. Open Dynamics Engine is a multi-platform free and open source physics engine that's written in C and C++ and is licensed under BSD and LGPL licenses. OD has been used in many applications and games, such as Call of Juarez, made by Techland, maybe you know or maybe not. Xmoto, Stalker, and Open Simulator. It consists of two main components. The first one is rigid body dynamics simulation, and the second one is collision detection engine. ODE isn't tied with any graphics engine, so can be used mostly everywhere. Although it suffers some basic driving itself, like driving a box, sphere, capsule, triangle mesh, cylinder, or high map. And in Lipsoi, it's mainly used to provide some advanced physics calculation, 3D world simulation, and to detect collision between objects such as soy joints, for example, hinge, slider, for soy bodies, for example, box and portal, and for soy actions, I found I found the usage in only select. Also, I found some similar projects to OD. First one I found is Newton Game Dynamics. Is mostly used for Ogre, or I don't know to pronounce it, and for Irrlicht engine. The second one is Bullet Physics Library, and the last one is for 2D is Box 2D. And now I want to show you some examples of usage of ODE. The first one is from PySoy joint blocks. A moment, I don't have it running. Yes. I don't know. Wait a minute. A second. I don't know why it's not working. And let's broadcast my window. Weird stuff. So the first one is this on the left side. I don't know why cannot I broadcast this window via Hangouts. So I put this all full screen. So this is just two blocks that are connected with joints together. And the second one is from ODE demos. Its name is crash. Yeah, sorry. Demo buggy. Yes. It's like this. Just simple physics, some joints, etc. And the last one is also from ODE, and as just we can see how to crash the blocks and smash it with car. And I think it's all. As it's everything what I thought is important. So you can ask me a question. I'm ready.
Anybody have any questions?
Samuel,
Yeah.
did you have any questions about ODE?
No.
Why don't you follow up a little bit on what you did last year with the shader collision stuff?
Oh, yes. So I worked on sphere bounding as a pre-collision check, and currently it's in the tree right now. And for every scene, there's I think 16 by 16 texture that checks whether two bodies are whether their bounding spheres are intersecting. So actually, let me try to find it. Okay. So we get a array of bodies. There's all shader initialization stuff. Do I also have a? There is a collision fragment shader. What it gets is an RGBA texture with the position and the collision radius of a body, and it just checks each body with another one and sets the pixel or fragment to white if there might be a collision. So, yeah. Any questions? Or
Is this for? Does it check for every single body in the scene, or just for bodies in a certain radius?
It's well, it can only check up to 16 bodies, so there's your min. But essentially, yeah, it checks every body it's against other ones.
Yeah, so what happens currently with that code when there's more than 16 bodies in a scene?
It's only going to check the first 16 for now. Yeah.
So that task was part of trying to replace ODE's collision system, preferably something that we could implement inside of a browser. What would we have to do, and this is an open question, but what would we have to do further to get this in as our default collision engine?
I'd say follow up on the actual formulas for detecting collisions of various shapes. I'm not sure how that would happen. Maybe a huge shader which uses casework or something?
Well, you can also the shaders are really useful when you're doing the same thing over and over and over again because I can split up into pipelines. The problem with collision is it's each body has to be tested against every other body. So
Yeah.
if there are 16 bodies and you're doing where's my math right now? A lot of tests. over well over 100 tests for that. Would it be possible to increase that limit beyond 16?
Perhaps. Let me check if there's.
ODE itself is free software, so we should even be able to just rip out the current collision code and just drop it into libsoy. Michael, did you look into that at all?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the 16 can be changed to a higher number. You might be able to do that dynamically as well, but I'm not sure.
We'll have to export the. The big question is how much is a current code. It exports a pix map with 0 and 1 representing which object it collided with.
Yeah,
right?
So we have a 2D texture, and the X and Y coordinates represent body numbers. So it ends up looking like a triangle.
And would increasing the number of bodies, would that add latency to the, would that make the scene run slower? Substantially?
Maybe. Well, the number increases quadratically when you add more bodies, so you might be able to do something with maybe partitioning the scene into smaller portions of space, like an octree, perhaps. But then that's just optimization.
I thought the way this worked was that the each pixel represented a body in the scene, and the bit values represented the other bodies to save space overall. Or was it a 1-bit and an XY matrix representing bodies, and then you have the values within that for which collision happened?
The latter one. Plus, I think if you went with the 1D texture idea, I think you run out of bits.
Okay. Maybe this could be a good research task. It was last year, so I don't remember exactly where we were. Also, Matt did part of this as a summer code project, but I don't remember how far he got with it.
Anyone else want to comment on ODE? Okay. Sam, do you have a bug to present?
Okay, so this is going to be the bug that generates, let's see. This is it. All of these kinds of warnings with the collections and maps. So let's begin. So here we have a Genie file, pretty simple. You create a new list, and then you try to add something, and then access the size. So that gets parsed into Vela as this. You have an array list.
We're not seeing.
Oh. Wait. Is that better?
Can you all see it? I see a green arrow, but I don't see anything but the.
It's fine
Here we
for
go.
me.
I can see it, and it's showing up on the stream.
Let me try
Yeah.
again then.
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh. Okay. So yeah, there's the Vela. We have a GeoRealist, new GeoRealist, and we tried to add something to it and access its size. So that gets parsed into this C code. So we have this. So we create a new ArrayList. That's fine. They're of type GeoRealist. So when we use GAbstractCollection add, we correctly parse it. We correctly cast it as a GAbstractCollection. But when we try to access the size, we cast it as a GCollection. So that's going to cause a warning. And it even is an abstract collection method. So it looks like this happens when you access a property. It doesn't correctly cast for some reason. And after tracing it through VLC, so we have this file, these functions. So let's see. So what we get is these questions. I haven't gone beyond that, but I should ask the IRC channel about that. So
Does not exist when we're using the libg 1.0, also known as 0.6. Is this caused by the VAPI, or is this something that Policy is doing?
it's Vala. Well, I think you could fix it using the VAPI by adding casts to the GVAPI, but that doesn't seem very elegant.
Okay. I see. I'm looking at user share Vala VAPI g-0.8.vapi.
Yeah.
And actually, let me just screen share. So I'm looking at the abstract collection, and I see, abstract, add, abstract, etc., etc. I don't see this defining a getter.
Mm-mm.
You?
Yeah, the methods work fine, but those properties don't.
Well, it looks as just a VAPI error.
Is it?
Yeah. So it's it looks like, just from what I'm seeing here, it kind of looks like Vala's doing the right thing. It's just the VAPI's wrong.
Huh.
Because it Vala's taking it as Vala's going to use whatever type defines that method, and the method isn't being defined by the parent. It's being defined by the inherited child. So at least that's what my casual glance just indicates.
Hmm.
Here we are. So a lot of these really should be um, implemented separately. Anyways. Do you have a proposed fix for this?
Well, I guess probably just go with Vappy.
If that's what's causing it.
Hmm.
It'd be awesome to fix it because this also affects Vala and Genie code.
Yeah. With the yeah.
Do we have tasks up already to address this?
Yes, those were the Genie collection and map tasks, I think.
Okay. Anyone jumping at the bit to get on them? We do have, I believe, 2 Vala developers as mentors, and they were just as stumped by this. I don't think they looked into it too deeply, though.
Hmm.
They just suggested turning off the warnings in the GCC command so we don't see those messages. Hardly an elegant solution, but like, if you don't want your user to see it, just turn it off. We still have to see it. This causes problems with our VAPIs, and they may actually be problems. So now we have to dig through hundreds of lines of debug warnings to find real warnings, not the silly stuff happening from the Vala C side. Okay. Are you done, Samuel?
Yeah.
Okay. So, open question. Talking about bugs. Does anyone have any bugs or task ideas? Because we do have to upload a bunch this weekend to prepare for next week. We're only. I think we're down to like 60 open tasks right now.
I believe that last time when I was doing some development on the HG bot, I was checking some stuff, and when I was trying to use the repository command, it was throwing a weird error. I didn't look into that much because I was trying to get a push before someone else came in, but I pulled a clean, and it wasn't something that I did wrong, so I think that might be something to look into.
That's right, HGBot is broken right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're not getting reports. Well, there's a quality assurance bug task.
Fix HGBot.
Yeah, figure out what's wrong with HGBot and fix it. Don't make me have to do it again.
Well, there's always all these other warnings. Deprecated syntax should be easy.
Well, I think we didn't do those because we were planning to replace that code anyways.
Oh.
The soy controllers was on its way out the door.
Hmm.
I don't know if we're going to replace it with another soy.controllers or just leave it completely out. Those are warnings of the SG K12 PNG converter.
Hmm.
Those are definitely things we can clean up. Maybe we can have a task just to list all of the, get a list of all the different unique bugs, because a lot of these are the same bugs over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I think when I posted the first list of quality assurance, cleaning up all these warnings, I think we're just looking for the low-hanging fruit to start with. The ones that repeated, like, almost every module's got those libg warnings on it. But some of these are actually legitimate problems. um, especially the scene graph stuff. The not the se- the path follower graph. It's an old summer code project that hasn't been touched since. Here's an open question. What do we need to do to get Player D functioning? We have the startup stuff. That's important, right? Has anyone here looked at that?
At this point, what does Player D do?
It starts up,
Okay.
and it has some structs. We have a whole body of code, especially inside of Libsoy, that we need to migrate over. And there's a rough idea laid out in the code right now for what the API should look like. But given that almost all the development happening on it is through tasks, we've been kind of stalled out on. We are starting up the process. We have, I think now, Android and Systemd startup systems for it, and the Systemd startup task could very easily be used by OpenRC and etc. On Linux, but we don't have any Bluetooth. We don't have any USB. We don't have any EVDev. We don't have any platform-specific code. We don't have any controller-specific code. Just some abstract structs for basic API. So how would we structure that into GCI tasks to get the next step done? Basic keyboard.
I guess it would really depend on how the API is laid out. I haven't really looked at it, so I have any ideas for that. Besides just get this controller working with Player D.
Yeah, which is a little jumping the gun because I really expect to get further along with the basic API before GCI started, and it didn't happen. So a lot of those tasks could be done, but it wouldn't be the most fun because it requires thinking through and inventing a lot of that code that supports those individual controllers. And we don't have keyboard working or mouse, so maybe a research project?
And maybe also something that could help with quality assurance in the future, like get some sort of debug stuff laid out so that you can easily figure out what's going wrong in the future when stuff inevitably does go wrong.
Test-driven development? Start with what breaks and then slowly make it not break?
Yeah.
I can talk very briefly. A lot of our XMPP stuff has been getting blocked. Everyone knows we're moving away from Loudmouth. Loudmouth has suffered from fork death. The original maintainers are long gone. The GitHub accounts are dead. Been dead for 5 years. There's at least 6 major forks of it. Every distro's packaged a different fork that all have different APIs. And every package that uses it has to be specially patched for the specific version of Loudmouth. It's a variant of Loudmouth that's being used. Also, it's incredibly archaic. It's using outdated libraries. It's using glib, but not gobject or GIO. It uses its own SSL implementation, its own asynchronous DNS library. It's just completely bit run across the board. So we started the rewrite last year, and it's almost there. So I've been trying to polish up and get that out the door so we can get the networking stack upgraded and get certain libraries like libnice out of the direct libsoy dependency stack. or at least move it so we don't depend on it directly. Just like as we move into player D, we're moving like the Linux, Bluetooth, and USB systems out of LibSoy, which will improve its cross-platform compatibility. Um, so we have some Light Melody stuff coming up here soon, both to improve it, which we already have some tasks on that, which can be done right now. There are some example code in Light Melody's directory tree for testing. But also getting libsoy upgraded to use it and start implementing some of the SRTP code within Light Melody, so we can do the bit stream with a system that will work with WebRTC. Anyone else want to talk briefly about what you've been working on? I mean, you just did the Raspberry Pi case. If you want to show that off.
Yeah, let me grab that.
Yeah.
So this, you know what? I might just pull up some pictures here, since I have some pictures. Give me a second. Got some better pictures of it in some zip folder. So this was a task to design a let me just see, what is the best way to
You can show it on camera too.
why not? But it's a little bit hard to see, especially with the webcam. So this is what it looks like up close. It's a pretty simple little folding thing. It's one sheet of cardstock, just your regular, like, I don't know, maybe 80-pound cardstock. Regular stuff you can get at Art Supply Store. There could be some ventilation, but that's pretty easy to cut into it, just for the Raspberry Pi. And as you can see right here, those two little lights, the two little status lights, actually go through this cardstock, and it looks kind of nice. It has also, there's an SVG that I can put up also. So this is what the SVG looks like. It's pretty simple. There's some nice fold and cut lines. Just cut along the black lines, fold along the dotted lines. I figured the best way to do this actually is to not cut out the little pieces first, especially, so you don't want to cut out these pieces here, and you want to sort of leave little blocks around these little pieces that you have to fold, because otherwise they're just going to, when you try to fold them, it's going to get really hard to fold, so it's better if you leave little tabs hanging off of them, and then you fold them, and then you cut them after you fold them, because folding is the most sort of temperamental part of making these things. Also, one problem with the original one was that the little space for the micro SD card was too small. That has been fixed. It's been enlarged, so like a lot bigger. So you shouldn't have any problems putting the micro SD card in there. There's a little hole up at the top for the serial, for the output pins for putting shields and stuff on it. And the only thing you really need to put together is scissors and glue. So that's pretty nice.
Why does the ports in the middle there? Why do you make them as tall as you did?
In the middle?
Yeah.
Oh, right here?
Yep.
Audio. So those are as tall as they are because that is the easiest way to cut them, because it's sort of hard to get scissors in there, and it's also the easiest way to sort of pop them in when you can just sort of slot them in and then push it down. That's sort of the theme that I was going for with it. Because something I discovered pretty early is that cutting these things out is a pain. So make the sort of the size of the place where you're cutting out as big as possible. And well, as tall as possible, and it sits down in there, and it works pretty good. And it also acts as ventilation, I guess. So that's nice. Originally, I actually got a 3D model of it and put it into Inventor, and then halfway through, I figured, how am I ever going to be able to put this into an SVG and print it? So started working in Illustrator about that. Yeah. Also, you need to make sure that when you're doing this, the whole thing folds in. If you fold it outwards, you end up with this, which does not work when you try to put a Raspberry Pi into it, because everything is sort of backwards. As you can see, the dotted lines and stuff are on the outside. So yeah, anyone have any questions about that?
I have a quick comment. There's 2 more of those tasks still up, and then maybe more for competing designs. We were talking about actually having a bunch of them die cut, or kiss cut. So we'll have a company take a bunch of paperboard and make it's kind of like a cookie cutter with sharp edges. The paper goes through and it presses down on a stack of them at once, and pre-cuts and pre-presses all of the lines out, so we can put them into classroom kits with Pi Sawyer or Sprout or whatever printed on them. We make the educational kits, so scissors won't be an issue, and the cardboard would also be, because then we can just put it in the workbooks.
Yeah. I guess so. I don't know. I had lots of cardstock laying around, so and that's sort of how I understand the task. All going back to when I decided with a friend to build a paper model of Skylab, which is currently falling apart, but it was pretty cool while it lasted. On that note, there's actually tons of stuff on the internet. You can build entire space shuttles out of cardstock, and they have all the payloads for pretty much for hundreds of STS missions, which is really cool if you have that type of patience.
Yeah, this has been finals week for a lot of schools. So across the board, GCI's had a big slowdown. But based on previous years, we're all expecting this next week to be a little insane. Christmas week is always crazy.
As crazy as the first week, or?
Almost, yeah. We get about half of the students that we get in each of our programs sign up during the first week of Christmas break. So a lot of students won't sign up earlier because they've got finals they're studying for, or other school activities within their home, and kaboom. So, of course, this has been a weird GCI. We had 90 tasks the first week. Last year we had 90 tasks total, so who knows what it's going to look like. We may have gotten most of the students who are going to get the whole program the first week of this year. So, we'll see.
How many tasks did we get done this week?
I think it's only like 10. I have to look. This last week has been pretty much the average for last year. It may have seemed slow to all of us, but in truth, it was a pretty average week for most school coding. I think the beginner tasks and the extra advertising is what caused the earlier explosion of activity. So, good thing, program's growing. Bad thing, we have to keep putting up new tasks, and we're down to. We always try to keep at least 100 open tasks available, and I'm not counting beginner tasks, and we're way below that mark right now. So it's going to be for me the rest of this afternoon, and I know that a couple of other mentors are working on them as well, trying to get extra tasks loaded for the next week. So. Anyone else? Anything you did this week that was exciting? I have one last exciting thing to say is that all the Christmas gifts that were going out have gone out. International students will be receiving them probably next week. It says 6 to 10 days, so.
Hey.
You two are domestic, so you got yours first. The mailing from the U.S. to the U.S., especially from D.C. to D.C. area, is like the next day.
Yeah.
It cost almost $30 each to ship the international packages. So that was we ended up sending 5 international packages out. So hopefully they'll get through customs. Especially the Chromecast. One small note for the international students, I'll try to repeat this in IRC, but any devices in there that require USB, the USB plugs were not included because they are US plugs. So hopefully you can find your USB wall adapters through local sources. That was a complete oversight on my part, not to buy those ahead of time. So India, Poland, and so on will have to go out and find USB plugs if they need them, or if you don't already have them.
Anyone else have anything else to add before we close out the show?
We're good.
Yeah. Close us out.
Okay. See you guys next week on the GCI Copyleft Hangout number week 4. Yeah. Okay. See ya.